Alright guys, wanted to show you a quick update to the tank. It's been just a little bit and we've come in and made some changes. I'll show you the aerial view real quick so you can see my water is crystal clear. So what you're looking at from the front is just a reminder that I'm working with a second-hand tank and there are quite a few scratches on it. So don't pay any attention to that. Also, the water is just a little yellow, and that's tannis coming from some moss that I've got down in the sump, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. But the other thing that you're going to look at is that film that's going around the sides and the back of the tank. That's basically just mineral buildup that I leave in there for the snails to consume. So a lot of iron and calcium, but that's built up for all of these guys. There are about 3 different varieties of snail in this tank. We've got Japanese trumpet snails, some mystery snails, a couple of different varieties of those, and of course the one you generally can't avoid, the pond snails, are going to be all over this place. We've also made some additions. One of the major things to look at is all of that Java moss that was all over the place. We took all that stuff out of there and redecorated the tank, changed the layout just a little bit, and made it a little bit more well balanced. So we added in to the community quite a few more, as you can see, neons, being both the black and regular neon variety. And then I found a semi-local pet store that carries these sailfin mollies, so I've got some of those in there. We also added in some more gouramis, a couple of different varieties of those, and then the main additions to the tank, the most interesting to me, are the German rams. Got 4 of those in here, and they've paired off and have actually spawned a couple of times. So got those going. One of the major changes that I did to the tank is in the sump. Actually, that's that sphagnum moss I was talking about, just causing that tannis that you see at the top of the tank. But I added in this little overflow box to the sump, so just adds in a little extra filtration for me. I've got about 4 filter pads off in there, just some bonded filter pads right now. But this thing actually has a little timer on it. As you can see, that front edge is starting to get some buildup to it. When that thing gets completely clogged up, it won't let water pass through there anymore. Water starts to come right over the top of the box. That lets me know when I start seeing water get that high, or if I start seeing it overflow. And I know that it's time to change those pads out, so they can't handle any more at that point. Now, that running in tandem with the filter sock over here on this side is actually some really good filtration, and keeps my turnover at still a high rate. I thought about putting in canister filters or something along those lines, but I like the ability to still be in control of everything that's going on with my tank. And I also have it to where I can, like this, actually maintain my biological filtration. So these guys never get changed out at the same time. Now that I have got 2 going on, I can always leave 1 intact so that my biological filtration remains. So it's generally every couple of weeks that I change one or the other out. So change out one, and then a couple of weeks later get the other one changed out, and it's usually this one that's the dictator of all that. So anyway, that's the major change that I did, which is turning this tank into something else, and making everything go just a little bit more smoothly. I don't have nearly the amount of buildup that I had before, and it doesn't really require that much maintenance as far as water changes or anything, which I really don't like to do because I try to keep everything natural. But I wanted you guys to see, besides the snails, I've got an army of ghost shrimp working in here. They're all over the place. As you move around, you can kind of see. Well, there's a baby, little baby. You can kind of see. There's an army of snails and ghost shrimp that help maintain the actual cleanliness of the tank. And these guys are all over the place, everywhere around here. So their job is basically just to take care of the excess food and detritus that builds up in the tank. And keep the water quality a little bit better for the fish. So the tank's only been running for just a little over a month now. There's still quite a few aesthetic changes that are going to come to sort of finish off the look that I was going for with this tank. I got some bulb plants growing in here. You can kind of see right there. That's one of them sitting right beside that snail. That's one of the bulbs. That's going to be some onion right there. And then I've got also some lotus growing that should go right behind that drift right there, and sort of start filling in right in between those two baffles. And also along the sides over in there should be some more up and coming growth to sort of fill that out. So by the time the tank gets done, with the look that I'm going for, it's going to make a really good natural habitat for all these fish to maintain optimum health and hopefully stay alive long enough to provide some good entertainment for the household and any guest or company that I have, and most importantly, provide happiness for myself. Well, anyway, that's everything that's going on here. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to post them. Also, of course, if you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks a lot.